All right, let's get right into it. Today we're breaking down the plot of the upcoming thriller, Psycho Killer. It's a story that kicks off with a single, brutal act of violence and quickly spirals into a desperate hunt for a man who literally wants to wipe a city off the map.
So what's this movie all about? Well, at its core, it's a raw, brutal story of revenge. And it asks a really terrifying question. What happens when a police officer who's sworn to uphold the law has to throw the rulebook out the window to avenge the one person she loves?
Okay, so every story like this has to start somewhere, right? That one moment that just changes everything. And for this one, it all kicks off on a lonely, desolate Kansas road. And this is where it gets just gut-wrenching. Jane, who's a cop herself, pulls up just in time to see her own husband get shot, right in front of her. She immediately returns fire, but in the chaos, the killer just vanishes, leaving her totally alone on that empty road.
So you can imagine, this isn't just a case for her anymore. Not even close. It's personal. It's a full-on vendetta. That image of her husband dying becomes the single, burning fire that's going to drive her to do whatever it takes.
So, what about the guy who did this? We find out pretty fast that this wasn't just some random act of violence. No, we are dealing with a serial killer on an absolutely terrifying spree.
And get this, right after the murder, the killer just casually checks into a hotel, turns on the TV, and guess what's on? A news report about him. They're warning everyone that a killer is out there and he's already taken 16 lives. 16! And he's just warming up.
And as you can see here, there's a chilling method to his madness. This isn't random chaos. He murders a woman for drugs, kills a couple and leaves a satanic symbol, even takes out a gun dealer for weapons. Each crime has a purpose, a step in some larger, darker plan.
And then, bam! It feels like almost no time has passed and the news reports are just confirming the worst. The body count? It's doubled. We're at 32 victims now. The killer's getting faster, the state is panicking, and it's crystal clear that the official police investigation just isn't cutting it.
So that brings us back to Jane, you know? She's watching all this unfold, getting more and more frustrated. She realizes time is running out. She can't just sit on the sidelines anymore. She has to go after him herself. Even her own father is begging her, "Jane, stand down, let the police handle this." But she knows better. To catch a monster like this, you can't play by the rules. You have to get inside his head.
But here's the thing. She's not completely on her own. She actually finds a secret ally, an FBI agent named Rebecca, who basically says, look, I'll help you, but this is off the books. If my boss finds out, I am in huge trouble. Rebecca's willing to risk her entire career because she thinks Jane's way is the only way this guy gets caught. And with Rebecca feeding her intel, this phantom killer finally starts to get a face, a name even, Richard, thanks to a driver's license. They find receipts for explosives, hotel keys, maps, and it all starts painting a really scary picture. He isn't just killing, he's building up to something huge. This intel leads Jane right to his doorstep. She tracks Richard to a hotel, and we get our first violent showdown. It is a brutal fight. He actually throws her through a window to get away. So, yeah, she doesn't catch him, but he leaves a critical clue behind, a phone number. And that number is going to change everything. So, remember that phone number? Well, that one single clue is what launches us into the final, explosive part of this story. The stakes are about to go from catching one killer to, well, preventing a total catastrophe. And then, in a move that is just unbelievably arrogant, Richard calls Jane. He calls her. The cat and mouse game is over. Now he's the one leaving clues, basically turning this into his own twisted game. He's inviting her to watch his grand finale. So she follows his trail and finds the next clue he left. Just 3 letters scrawled on a wall. 3MI. And in that one horrifying moment, it all clicks for her. 3MI. 3 Mile Island. His target is the nuclear power plant. And just like that, his whole plan, his endgame, becomes terrifyingly clear. This was never just about the body count. It was a suicide mission all along. His plan is to kidnap the plant manager, use him as a hostage, to get inside, take over the control room, and then force the manager to start a full-on meltdown. He wants to destroy the entire city of Kansas.
And the crazy thing is, he pulls it off. He gets inside that control room. The alarms are screaming, and he forces the plant manager to hit the big red button. The meltdown starts, And just to show he means business, he executes the manager and reveals he's wearing a vest packed with explosives. There's no talking him down.
But Jane has a plan. She's outside, set up in a sniper's nest. She starts firing at the exact same spot on the bulletproof glass. Again and again and again until it finally weakens, creating this one tiny little hole. Her next shot, it's perfect. It goes right through that hole and hits Richard in the leg.
He's hit. He stumbles, but he's not out. Not yet. He pulls the pin on a grenade, ready to blow the whole place sky high. Jane has literally no time to think. She fires again through that same tiny hole and hits his hand. The grenade goes flying. I mean, the level of skill here is just unbelievable. And then, the final bullet. It's a clean shot right to the head. Richard goes down, the meltdown is stopped, and it seems like the nightmare is finally over.
So after that incredibly intense climax, the story kinda jumps forward. It gives you a chance to breathe, to feel like it's all resolved. But just when you think everyone's safe, we get one last really chilling twist.
We see Jane a few months down the road. She's pregnant, and she's finally starting to move on with her life. It looks like she's found some peace, you know? She's getting ready to be a mom, to start a new chapter, to honor her husband. And then, the final shoe drops. Richard didn't die. He actually survived that headshot. Now he's locked up in a supermax prison. So yeah, the immediate threat is gone, but the story leaves you with this really haunting question. Can any prison really hold a monster like him? And now that he knows exactly who Jane is, will she and her child ever truly be safe?